Missouri's deer season recently ended, and I'm always a little sad this time of year because I love deer hunting. But one thing that cheers me up is knowing turkey season is just around the corner. Seeing the occasional tom strut already in food plots makes me know turkey season will be here really soon. You got it. Some of my favorite memories have occurred during turkey season. I think I enjoy turkey hunting so much because it's a very interactive sport. Making calls, changing positions, popping up decoys, all while that turkey's gobbling just toward the ridge and trying to cut the distance and get him in range. This time of year between deer and turkey season is a great time to practice turkey calls. I don't have a musical ear, so I struggle a little bit when I'm practicing, knowing if I'm hitting the notes right. That's where helpful hints from a good friend like James Harrison can really help me and you with our turkey calling techniques. James happens to be the multi-time world champion locator turkey caller. So when you started making the hooter, I mean, just, how did you come up with that design? How did you even get something like that?
I started, what spurred it was a competition called for years with my natural voice. So I just started slowly building and designing an owl hooter. I had 4 years in the design and development of this one. So I've thrown probably hundreds, if not 1,000 of them away, different designs that I didn't like. I'd take them to contests, blow them, practice a little bit, be like, nope, that's not the sound. And then once I got the design, actually came to me laying in bed, I jumped up, wrote it down, because I was like, I don't want to forget this in the morning. Wrote it down, went to work, put it all together, and that was it. So had 4 years into that, but then once I got it designed and went to the contest, hitting it, running it, liking it, I thought, this is a call that I could produce and sell to the general public so guys could, have a good quality owl hooter out there. Usually the way I look at it, you get one really good design in your lifetime on a call, and I think the crow call, the owl hooter was it. But then last year when we started messing with the deer grunters, I think I've been blessed enough to get 2 of them out of the deal there,
James invented and is known for his hooting stick, so there's no better guy to teach us how to run that call than James Harrison.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Reconics, Trophy Rock, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Dead Downwind, Lacrosse Footwear, Blood Sport Arrows, Flatwood Natives, Morel Targets, Caldwell, Hooks Custom Calls, Montana Decoy, Summit Tree Stands, Drake Non-Typical Clothing, House Lubricator, Genesis No-Till Drill, Yamaha, Fourth Arrow, Scent Crusher, Antler Extreme, iScope, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
Cold and cloudy today, really doesn't feel like turkey hunting weather, but my good friend James Harrison stopped by, world champion owl hooter, great turkey hunter, so I want to pick his brain, give us some setups here at the Proving Grounds. James, thanks for coming by.
Hey, thanks for having me out today.
So it's unlikely I'd let a turkey killer like you on the Proving Grounds during turkey season, but just say you did come by during turkey season, we'd probably start right here, and I wanted you to just share with me, we're here before daylight and it's kind of getting about right. What would you do to locate a tom from here?
First, I'm just going to ease in there. I'm going to do some soft owl hooting. You don't want to get real aggressive right off the roost because you may have birds just right off the hill, and you don't want to. Turkeys they live in the woods 24/7. They know what an owl sounds like. So if you get in there and blast them, you may spook them and they may not say a word to you. So I'm going to start off with just some soft hoots.
Sounds awesome, man.
And just let you listen. I'll get you back away from me about 15 yards. That way if a bird does gobble, you can pinpoint his direction.
Yeah, a lot of times that bird will cut the call, as we call it, or gobble while the call's still going on. And if you're blowing, you're obviously not going to hear that. That's what I like to do when I'm hunting, is say, hey, James, I didn't hear anything, but I'm going to step over the ridge here a little bit, and I go kill the turkey while you're still up here calling.
That's right. That happens all the time. I've seen it.
Oh, man, yeah. Okay, It's a little slow. I've tried to gar-hole you and put you where there's no turkeys at. But you're thinking, man, I'm gonna reach out and get another turkey to fire up somewhere. What are you gonna do next?
Well, on the lines of the owl hooter, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna get a little more aggressive with it. I really wanna get loud and get that bird to attention and get him to gobble, so I'll get real aggressive, start laughing, doing a lot of excited laughs and stuff like owls do when they're coming together to try to get that bird to shot gobble back at me.
Man, that sounded awesome. So James is a little bit modest, but James actually built this call. He's multi-time world champion owl hooter, and he builds the Harrison hooting stick. So tell me a little bit about how you're using that, how you're running it, because I mean, you're the master of it.
All right, well, basic, simple. I like to hold the call like I'm saying the word just okay. Yep. And then I lay my 3 fingers down here like this, and my bottom hand, I'm just cupping it. Okay. Just like that. Yep. I'm not holding it tight. I always kind of figure it's like you're holding a baby chicken. You don't want to squish it, you just want to hold him. And then I'm just huffing into the call. I have the back pressure built in the call with the 2 exit holes so you don't have to blow as hard. Gotcha. A lot of guys overblow the call and they try to put too much air through it and they try to choke it off. That's your 2 things. I tell people a lot when they're hunting and practicing, just start with this. And once you get this pressure right, then add your hand.
Oh, that sounds good and easy.
Easy. Just
I've had some owl hooters in the past that, you know, you had to get your body in contortions and do everything to try to get a sound out of it. That's looking good.
Thank you.
Again, when you open it up a little bit, you're getting a lot more volume.
Yes, and when you open it up, you can actually do the laps. When you see me doing my laps, I'm opening it up and I'm putting a little more pressure to get the high-pitched sound. So you can.
You know, James, I'm kind of a basic owl hooter type guy, but I've always been envious of you. I want to do that roll at the end. How do you get that roll sound?
Okay, the roll is for me. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either roll your tongue and go, or you can roll your throat, almost like you're gargling. Go. Now I roll my throat to slow it down a little bit, so you. So basically, I'm going into the call. If you would do it with your tongue, you go.
It's faster, I noticed that.
A little faster, yeah. Your tongue is going to be faster than your throat because your tongue is hard to slow down at that speed.
Let's just say we didn't strike anything here. Got another plot over here on a ridge top like this we call North Boom. Y'all seen it a bunch of times. We're gonna get in a buggy, scoot around over there, maybe take 30 minutes, do a little prospecting, we get over there. Now it's daylight. You still gonna blow the hooter?
Yes, yes. I will still hit the hooter. I'll get out. A hooter's a subtle call. So if there's a bird in close, we ain't gonna spook him. Owls hoot all day long, so I'll get out. If that doesn't fire him up, then I'll get more aggressive, start a few laughs, and then I can switch over to a crow call or something from there.
Okay, crow call, that's the tool I use a lot. Okay. Tell me about crow calling. How do you do crow calling?
Crow calling, basically, it's kind of the same way with owl hooting. You don't want to start out over aggressive, you just want to start off blowing it, try to get that bird to gobble. And there's some logic behind not calling too much with a crow call, because I may need to locate him 2 or 3 times if he's in a different spot, so I don't want to overblow it and spook him on it. So I'll just.
So that call is loud. I'm standing here, it's loud, folks. What makes that call so loud?
Well, on the Harrison crow call, when I cut it and designed it, I opened up the inside chambers and opened up the bells and back, so you're getting more air through the call, so you can push a call and get it loud.
Because I was noticing you were like, you know, blowing your cheeks out, getting the frog look or something like that. You're just putting a little bit of pressure, but had a lot of noise coming out there.
Right, a little pressure, and then I built it that way because most guys for crow calls, they want to locate birds and we want to reach as far as we can. So loud, you can call soft on this call and you can get aggressive on it. So if you want to hit soft, you could. Want to get a little louder, I'll.
It's a pretty good chance you'll see James and I hunting together this spring. clearly he's a lot better caller than me, so I feel obligated to carry the shotgun and let James carry the calls.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
That's a deal.
Hey, if you'd like some more instruction from James, you can go to the Hooks Custom Call website, and he's got some YouTube videos on there about how to run the calls or order the calls right there at that site. There's no doubt James is an exceptionally skilled woodsman and expert turkey hunter. If you'd like to visit with James, he'll be at the National Wild Turkey Federation's convention in Nashville, Tennessee. Once you've located a gobbler, you've got to close that distance by striking up a conversation. It's time to get out the calls. Another friend of mine, World Friction Call champion Steve Morgenstern, stopped by the Proving Grounds to share some of his tips with us. So Steve, let's just start with, how do we take care of a call? I mean, if we don't take care of it, it's not going to sound good out in the woods.
Right. The problem we get is people throwing them, getting in a hurry, throwing them up on the dashboard of their truck. What happens there, that sunlight or heat that generates in a vehicle is hard on them.
It could actually change the shape slightly or the sound of the call.
It actually could, and the moisture in the air, the heat, the cold. Otherwise, you know, I just make sure it's in a good, cool, dry place. It's not going to have a lot of heat or a lot of cold, and kind of a room temperature is what I look for.
So off season, keep in your closet or somewhere like that where the humidity's controlled.
Yeah, just take care of it.
Steve also spent some time sharing how he conditions his call to make sure it works perfectly. Steve, some of my buddies have told me to scratch a call sideways or only up and down, or use 80 grit sandpaper or never use 80 grit sandpaper. How do you condition your call?
On a glass call, what I like a stone is what they call it. It's like a sharpening stone. They have conditioning sticks. Everybody, finds or comes up with conditioning sticks. And as far as back and forth, up and down, I've played with them for 20 plus years. I go back and forth from side to side, and that's what I use on all my glass or crystal type calls. Just take that stone and just moderate pressure back and forth across that, and then you've got your grooves when you're playing the call that goes.
Okay, so when you've done that, you wipe down your pants or something, take that dust off there?
Usually what I do is blow on it.
Okay.
Just blow that dust off.
Do you want to keep the dust off the end of your peg?
Dust off the end of the peg. What I normally do is have a little Scotch-Brite pad. I don't sand my pegs normally, the ends of them, because eventually you will sand the length of it down and it'll change sounds.
Okay.
So what I normally do is just take a Scotch-Brite pad and take the dust off of the end of the peg.
Once it's conditioned, it's time to make some calls. But before that striker ever hits the call, you need to think about how you're holding the pot to get the optimum sound.
What I do is I get that call up on my fingertips. That gives you a little bit of a chamber underneath for that sound to come out and kind of work out. Plus you can take and move that up and down to change that pitch and tone that you're getting out of that call. The peg wise, get it like you would a pencil. You have to have an angle, put your angle on there. You can rest your hand right on that call.
Okay.
It's not going to make any difference. Don't be afraid and think you have to hold it up here and not touch it, because it won't change.
Okay.
Rest it to where you can be solid, get your angle right, and you'll be good.
Start us with some basic calls. What's the first basic sound a guy ought to really know how to do on a pot call?
That's going to be a cluck and a yelp. Okay, your cluck, what you're going to do is you've got the call up on your fingertips, your hand rested, lay that down. That call or that peg has to be at an angle to where it will grip the surface of the call. Okay? Then all you're going to do is you're going to pop that peg. That's all you're doing is just popping it. Now when you bring that peg back, don't lift it up, okay? Don't, because you're getting a click, you're getting an extra sound. Leave it right on the surface. Just pop it, bring it right back to where you start with. Pop it, right back to where you start with.
And turkeys, you're calling, so they're super sensitive already. That click could be the difference between the tom coming in and staying out there 80 yards saying, what the heck is going on? So that's our basic cluck. Now take us another step in the cluck world.
Okay, when you get into a little more excitement, and you want to really start firing birds up and you get into the cutting part. Cutting is nothing more than clucks put into a rhythm, a little more of an excited rhythm. Okay, same principle. You start, pop it, bring it back, pop it. But what you're doing is, that bird's more excited, you're trying to generate excitement, you want to speed those clucks up, and vary them a little bit. So here's what you have: cluck,
Man, that sounds good.
it's just, yeah, it's a rhythm, the cutting rhythm, but it still goes back to a basic cluck. Your yelps, you're still not going to pick your striker up. You're going to leave it on there. Yelp consists of, to simply put it, a high and a low note.
Two notes.
2 notes. But if you start by going in like an oval or a circle, okay, you get your high note coming across and a low note when you come down.
So do a little calling for us now. And what I want to do here, we're just going to run some footage so you can replay this part and practice at home. So start simple, just give us a couple calls here.
Okay, so I'm just going to basic cluck. Here's what we're doing, clucking. Okay, now I'm going to throw in some clucks and yelps. Just putting the two together. And when you're going to get a little more excited, you're just speeding stuff up. Just remember, you have to play with the pressure that you use and play with the speed of your rhythm. The more excited you get, the more pressure you're probably going to put on it, the more you need to speed it up, what have you. But get a little more excited. Still basics, you're clucking and yelping. Then if you're locating birds, cutting is a good deal to locate also, besides just firing them up. But get to cutting. Throw some yelp.
Man, that sounds good.
There it is.
Steve's been building calls literally for a long time. He's on the Hoots Custom Call Pro staff, known as the friction guy, obviously a world champion. So I asked Steve to build us a call that was simple to run, can run it under pressure, but sounded great. Clearly this call sounds great. Steve, tell me about what you got there.
Okay, what we did is we wanted to take an extra step, go another step above a basic wood pot. So what we did is we laminated some different choice woods together, different hardwoods, to come up with a combination for the pot or the cup. Then we put a crystal surface in it with an aluminum soundboard, adjusted things, played with it until we got the sound that we wanted. The aluminum kind of brings some life to it. The crystal brings that pleating high into it. And then you adjust things to where it makes it easy for everybody to play. And there's absolutely a difference in a high-end call versus, say, a low-end call. Nothing wrong with the low ends, but there's stuff that you can do and accomplish with a high-end wood pot turkey call that is just above and beyond what you expect. And the response from turkeys, with the sounds that you get out of them is pretty amazing.
Hey, I only have a few days of turkey hunt, so when I'm out there, I need to make sure I can do as good a job of attracting toms as I can.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be scratching on that call in South Florida, where it's going to be a whole lot warmer in about a month. I'm extra excited this year because there are quite a few turkeys to chase here at the Proving Grounds. We've had several good hatches during the past couple of years, even with some weather conditions that weren't all that favorable. Certainly, the average number of poults per hen is above the average for the state of Missouri. And I think a big part of this is due to our intensive trapping program.
Well, it's a great day here at the Proving Grounds. We got another coyote from the Duke number 4. This location had a lot of things going for it. Of course, we had a Reconyx camera on a small hidey hole food plot just out in front of us. A lot of coyotes we've seen have been cutting across the food plot, coming around in the corner and coming right down the road. It was an intersection of the food plot, the road, and another added factor, this time of year we have a lot of north winds. Of course, north is right here, North wind blowing scent right across the road, right where coyotes are traveling, and it's no surprise we got a coyote in this trap. Well, this is our third coyote of the year. We've got about a week left of Missouri's trapping season, so we're going to reset this Duke, and hopefully another coyote will be in it soon.
Unfortunately, Missouri's trapping season ends relatively early compared to other states, but I was thrilled to see another coyote be removed from the proving grounds during the last couple of days. Recently, I'd shared that I'd found a carcass of a hitless buck we called Peaches. Yesterday, I saw 2 immature bald eagles in a tree right over here, and they kept coming and going, so I knew something was dead below it, but I didn't have time to go check it out. I found Peaches. My daughter Ray actually shot at Peaches during the muzzleloader season and nicked him, but I knew from the footage it wasn't a mortal wound. Peaches obviously had a very non-typical antler on his right side. Once our taxidermist Pete had cleaned Peaches' skull, it was obvious my assumptions were correct. It looked like someone took a bottle of acid and poured around the antler base. You can actually see daylight through the skull where the brain abscess had created so much acid it eroded away some of the skull bones. Before I recovered Peaches, I assumed this malformed rack was caused by brain abscess. Brain abscesses are rarely fast-acting. In fact, bucks will typically grow 1 or 2 sets of abnormal antlers on one side or maybe even both, depending on the location of the brain abscess. I am glad those eagles were circling and I found Peaches so we could put some closure to this story versus just not seeing him next year and wondering what happened. There's a buck on your property that has a very non-typical rack on one side, and you see him for a couple years and all of a sudden he just disappears. There's a chance that buck died from a brain abscess. Hey, if you're itching to learn more about deer hunting or management techniques, or you want some hands-on practice with turkey locator calls, both Daniel and James will be giving seminars at the Bucks, Beards, and Bass Expo in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, March 3rd and 4th. Stop by, visit with those boys, and get ready for the best season of your life. Hey, whether you're still running your trap line or practicing your turkey calls, each day take time to enjoy creation, but most importantly, slow down and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.